Hey there guys, it's Rob Mills, Diamond guitarist, former Diamond Head guitarist and head coach, founder at tsmusicacademy.com with my partner Troy Stettiner. Today's video talking about you've got your first gig. How do you prepare? Well, one of the things that you've got to make sure is that you are prepared. That means having spare of everything really, spare strings, spare batteries if you've got pedals and stuff like that. But really, if you've got pedals, you should be running them off a power bank really. That's the best way. And obviously prepared in the sense of mentally prepared because you've rehearsed the songs to death. That's one of the keys to, being confident when you jump on stage, that you can actually be able to do the job, right? If you haven't prepared well enough, then you've got more opportunity to be worried. Even when you are really prepared, you still mentally, perhaps before a show, might start going, oh shit, I'm going to remember this bit and that bit. But when you've prepared properly, it's already locked in. It's locked into a part of your brain that you kind of you don't realize will just take care of things. Basically the subconscious, right? So that's why repetition is the mother of success. So lots of repetition of the songs. Even one thing that I really like to do is if I'm learning a particular set, then I'll put the playlist on all together on a MP3 or whatever you use these days. And then if I'm driving in the car somewhere, I'll be playing it. So I'll be turning it over in my head. I'll be going, okay, this is where I do this bit, that bit, and the other bit. So the mental rehearsal is also as good as a physical rehearsal, for sure. So do that shit. If you're lying in bed at night, you've got a big gig coming up, then you can also do the mental rehearsal as you're waiting to drop off to sleep. Mental rehearsal is so good. So you can have the song going through the head. If there's a particular part like the solo that you kind of going, oh, am I going to get this bit right? Then see it in your mind's eye. It's honestly, that is such a great way to rehearse, mental rehearsal, because your body, the brain, whatever, cannot tell the difference between what's imagined and what's real. So, and also when you imagine it, you can imagine it to be perhaps better than what it is, bridging the gap between how you're doing it in real life and then in your head and in your imagination, you can see yourself doing it even better, which is going to, eventually you're going to get to that place. That's visualization is great. So what else? You'll find out as you do more and more gigs that certain things will drop into place. What kind of sounds you like coming through the monitor. How you sort of perform, how you stand on stage, how you move around on stage. And of course, another important thing is if you are, most guitarists do practice sitting down naturally, but if you're going to do your first gig, you want to start standing up maybe and finding out the distance of your guitar where it feels good. I used to hang mine pretty low, perhaps not as low as Slash, one of my reasons for starting to play guitar. But find out where it feels comfortable and then run through the sets, put whatever, if you can get your set running through your hi-fi system or on your headphones and you've got the amp loud enough so you can hear your guitar, and stand up and, pretend like you're on stage, visualize it, be there, playing the stuff, moving your, obviously if you stood like that, still, that's one way of doing it, but I used to like to move and get into the groove. In fact, that's what I encourage my students to do, even if they're sitting there practicing something, to be tapping their foot, to be rocking their body, because then you're locked in to what you're doing. So that's quite important too. So yeah, rehearse, stand up, do some bedroom rehearsals, standing up. Obviously you're going to be standing up at the band rehearsal as well, but I'm just talking literally if you know, you've never done a gig before. Perhaps you're just getting into a band and you've never done a rehearsal before. So that's another part of the puzzle, is you've never, perhaps we're going back a step here from doing your first gig to doing your first rehearsal with a bunch of musicians, with a band. You can certainly do what I said, like stand up and start practicing standing up, practice, you know, some scales or whatever, practice the songs that you're going to do, more importantly. And of course, when you get with some good musicians, that's going to rub off on you. I had the pleasure of playing with some great musicians over the years. And yeah, I mean, Carl Brazil, drummer, great drummer, plays now with Robbie Williams, and Dean DeVal, keyboard player from Feeder. Just dropping a few names here, and obviously Diamond Head. So Brian Tatler, yeah, I did probably did about 20 or 30 shows over the sort of 3 or 4 years that I was with Diamond Head. The biggest one was Wacken Open Air. So that was an experience for me, to go from playing pubs, small venues, to playing, you know, a big, a big festival. And it was fun, for sure, but it was a completely new experience. And I had the guy shouting over from the other side of the stage, "What do you want in your monitor?" and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, I'll have some kick drums. And I didn't really know what I wanted at the time, because I'd never done a show like that before. So, but yeah, you grow into it, you know. And to be honest, playing that gig was perhaps, people say, what's it like playing in front of a big crowd? Well, it's amazing, obviously, but it's probably easier in a way than playing in front of a small crowd, where you've got, like, you know, a crowd of 50 people and they're all sort of staring at you. When you're playing in front of a big crowd, it's just a sea of people, and it's a completely different experience, obviously. So you can do that, guys. You can get into a band like that. It's not, maybe there's a little bit of luck involved, but it's mainly hard work, persistence, and getting your guitar technique down. Getting that guitar technique down. That's what we do at tsmusicacademy.com, the Troy Stettner Music Academy. We help guitarists to do that. So yeah, what else can I say about doing your first gig? I did my first gig when I was about 16 years old. I've been playing for a couple of years, and obviously at that age, you kind of do take it all in your stride. There's a bit of nervousness there, for sure, but by that point I was fairly confident in my abilities. You know, back in those days I was practicing for, like, you know, every day basically. I used to get home from school when I first started at 14 and practice for like 3 or 4 hours, because I just loved it, and I was starting to get results. And yeah, just pick it up every day and have some fun with it. So that's another thing. Sharpen your tools, sharpen your kit bag, and have some guitar idols. Mine were like Slash, Steve Vai, Joe Satriani, Jimmy Page, Frank Zappa, a bit further on. So yeah, guys, well, thanks for listening. This is just a little video I thought I'd do for you guys, give you some value. And remember to check out tsmusicacademy.com. Drop a comment below if you are you know, about to do your first gig or your first rehearsal, and let me know how you're feeling about it. You know, it can be a little bit daunting, but I assure you, once you get up there, most of the nervousness comes before. Once you get up there, you're like, yeah, and is it nervousness or is it adrenaline? You know, it's a fine line between the two. And remember to breathe, right? Remember to breathe, don't tighten up. Even when you're practicing, remember to breathe. Sometimes we try and play something like, you know, especially if it's a bit faster, and we tighten up and then the flow goes. Okay guys, don't make this video too long. I am experimenting with some longer format videos. This one's coming up to 10 minutes now. I'm going to try and get to 20 minutes in the next couple of weeks to give you guys more and more value. So this has been Rob Mills, tsmusicacademy.com, and thanks for watching. See you soon.